in on. I'm Jose Sosaya, by the way, here in the Wave Now studio for tonight's edition of Wave Extra. As just in a couple of things, wanted to show you all a bit of the view from outside, wrapping up this Friday. The lights, no mistaking what's happening there on the concert stage for Bourbon and Beyond, just looking at the music that's already playing. If I had seen the schedule list, which of course online, if that's something you were interested in, we're going to be talking about throughout the weekend, the full schedule and lineup for this Friday. The band Krangbin might be one of those actively on the stage right there, since they started their set list at 7:10. The next big act coming up is 8:25. That'll be Fish to round out the Friday night of music fun. Now, with all that in mind, and of course, not just, the traffic to have come in to the Expo Center Fairgrounds and trying to move elsewhere around town. Maybe you're someone who knows somebody who went over to the September meets out of Churchill Downs. Traffic can be undoubtedly busy. I want to let you know, by the way, some closures you'll need to watch out for as we're rounding out this Friday night. Take a look here. 3 right lanes of I-65 North near the outer loop are going to be closed starting Monday at 7 o'clock at night. These are going to last until Wednesday at around noontime. KYTC says crews are going to be doing some work on the concrete and that it's going to need time to dry so that they're fully sure that it's all set. You will need to watch out for signs and plan ahead for any of those delays around that part of town. So again, a heads up there for traffic needing to go around the outer loop on I-65 northbound. All right, bring you back in here to the studio. Some of the top stories we're following, and for this part, if you're just joining us here at 8:07, going to focus in on some of the more local updates, things we wanted to keep track of before the work week was up in the metro, some things we had on our radar. One of them being the story we brought you before about plans to demolish the historic Oddfellows building in downtown. There may be some pushback after all, and sort of a sense of an opinion that it may not end up being demolished to make room for new pickleball courts. The reason for that, and the context, of course, being when we let you know last month that the Omni Hotel submitted its application for sketches and renderings of what they wanted to be an entertainment venue, indoor-outdoor pickleball courts with a bar and a restaurant. Plans that the Omni has would require they demolish the Oddfellows building, but we did find some new comments on a city report saying, or at least making the case, that arguing the historic building would create unnecessary vacant space. So that's a quote laid out there in this report, the copy of the document. The document says also the building could be eligible to be put on the list of National Register for Historic Places because it does add something to the value and the character of downtown. There's no final decision either way on this, so something will certainly be following whatever that decision is to either deny or allow these permits and the plan to move forward. Elsewhere, Metro Council right now, we're learning they're considering putting a moratorium on building and looking into data centers. Based on a lot of stories you've followed with us as we've shared them on Wave News, in particular some of the public pushback among some groups of homeowners and the conversation around electricity, the power grid usage. We're learning that recently Metro Councilman Marcus Winkler has proposed an ordinance that would, in turn, set up a period of time where there's no new applications for telecommunication, hotel, or data centers to be considered by Metro Council until the Planning Commission reviews its process and can make any recommended changes. So you're looking is an example of the kind of acreage of land that would, in theory, have to be cleared out to make room for all the hard equipment that would be running these data centers, which then in turn need to hook up to the local grid, wherever that would be. The review for this moratorium for data centers, though, at least as far as Metro is concerned, could take up about 6 months. Just last night, it had its first reading among members of Metro. It's been assigned now to the Planning Committee, to the Zoning Committee, and that will be discussed on Tuesday. Something, as we always mention, whatever the latest is, we'll let you know. And some other updates and stories we're following. Metro Police say they've arrested someone connected to a murder at a senior living community in Old Louisville. Take a look at your screen. This is the mug that police had sent. They have charged, and prosecutors are charging, 32-year-old William Bradley with murder and wanton endangerment. Police telling us Wednesday night, Bradley and a victim who hasn't been identified yet got into an argument near the Hilbrand house on 3rd Street. That's when investigators say Bradley, they believe he pulled out a gun and shot the victim several times. The arrest report also says Bradley fired off shots in the direction of 4 other people. He is due in court relatively soon. So whenever that appearance happens, we'll share those updates on air, of course, on Wave News, online on wave3.com as well. Circling back, as I'll sort of bring us back to what the view is looking outside at the Expo Center Fairgrounds and the active show going on for Bourbon and Beyond. So this was bringing us back into the context of this story we got today of that the festival and the team putting it together wanted to expand what they're calling a mental wellness experience by bringing back something they call 1 Million Strong. I want to show you a bit of that video here. The event team says it's a space people can experience everything the festival has to offer, but try to maintain the sobriety if that's, what they're choosing, living their sober life. There's a wellness lounge they've added. They're calling it basically the alcohol-free space, but still has games, a photo booth, craft mocktails that people can sip on and have there. There's also, you saw a bit of a community wall there with words of encouragement and shared experience for anyone who's practicing this going to the festival. This amenity for any festival goer, the event team says is going to be free and open for the entire festival. All right, bringing me back here into the main studio. In development, of course, after we learned the passing of longtime Jefferson County Clerk Bobby Holsclaw. So that's very fresh news, and her family being able to share that after being by her side when she passed. But in the wake of the vacuum of the job she had done for so long, her family and some old local leaders want to honor that legacy, and they're asking Mayor Craig Greenberg to name her son interim clerk. Mind you, voters would still have a chance to formally vote for the clerk that they would want in the next election cycle. But this is something the Holsclaw family would be asking the mayor to do. Wave News reporter Alina Noakes wanted to look a little bit more into this push today, saying that Bobby's son, Brad Holsclaw, currently serves inside the clerk's office, says his mom had shown him the ropes of the job over the years, and that he and some people who are very close to his mother say having him finish this term out is what she would have wanted. So this is our Alina Noakes report.
Bobby Holsclaw passed away unexpectedly Wednesday, a long-standing figure in Jefferson County. Dozens of re-elections over more than 2 decades, the community chose Holsclaw as county clerk every time. Holsclaw was a Republican, but many say she was beloved regardless of party, putting people over politics.
She raised us to think of people and to judge people by their character and to love everyone. When she ran for office, she always said that she didn't want politics in the office one bit. She wanted the best run office.
That kind of reputation was best seen through the philosophy she adopted in her first term, VIP service.
In most people's mind means value. Very important person. But what's hers, it was value, integrity, and performance. And she put that together.
Now her family wants to see her son, Brad Holsclaw, carry her legacy to the end of her term.
She was always telling me everything about the clerk's office, whether it's the deed room, so the mortgages and the election center and things of that nature. And so I've got a pretty good grasp of what the office, how it's run.
Brad says he doesn't believe he'd run for re-election after the term ended. Rather, by finishing out her term, he'd provide the continuity in staff and service that Holsclaw wanted. But it's up to Mayor Craig Greenberg, who said he isn't ready to commit to anyone to fill that seat just yet.
I have just begun the process of identifying candidates as I make that appointment, and I'll have more to say about that in the coming days or weeks when I'm ready to make that appointment.
We'll certainly be watching for when that appointment officially happens. Thanks to Alina Noakes for that report. Holsclaw in her career, of course, the legacy she had left behind, we had reported as well on some of the challenges she had faced during her tenure. Most recently, some of the pushback, at least publicly, with the implementation of the CAVIS system. But something that, for the continuity's sake, her family arguing they wanted to steer this until the time comes for voters to decide who would succeed her. So far, State Senator David Yates is a name, Rosalind Welch, another name that have pitched running against Holsclaw or trying to, step into this public role. A reminder, the primary election itself is going to be coming up in May of 2026. All right, let's take you back outside. Checking our SkyTrack camera in South Louisville and a bit of the show and the lights, not the sounds, unfortunately, because of no microphones for there, but definitely the lights and the sights of this one of the top artists playing for Bourbon and Beyond tonight. We're going to take a quick break to reset, talk about some more stories we want to unpack as we're wrapping up this part of our Friday evening. We'll be right back with much more Wave Extra. Welcome back in, everyone. Here we are at 8:18 tonight on this edition of Wave Extra. Just for some big stories wanted to share with you as I was pulling some of this information up. Just want to, sometimes we're not able to fully upload the most recent video for you, but I just wanted to make sure you were hearing a lot of this as we're getting it into our inboxes and our systems here in the Wave Now studio. Of course, the top story and the breaking updates coming in from earlier this afternoon, especially the words of Utah's governor, police locally out there saying they arrested the man they believe shot and killed conservative activist Charlie Clerk. Spencer Cox, the governor out in Utah, released some more information of a 22-year-old Utah resident who they believe shot and killed Clerk Wednesday while he was talking during his own organization's event at Utah Valley University. They believe the suspect, who was in custody, escaped the scene, prompting the manhunt. He was arrested on suspicion of aggravated murder, a bunch of other different charges. Judge ordered he be held without bail. Formal charges are expected to be released early next week. To read much more about those details, something we'll definitely be, I believe for sure, updating from our digital team on our website, wave3.com. But of course, that'll be a story a lot of us will be following closely, even as we go through the weekend and the weeks and months ahead. And some other stories, as I'm pulling some of that video as well. We'd heard, following what happened in Utah Valley, the shooting of Charlie Clerk, some campuses then the day after were threatened and they remain closed. Multiple historically Black colleges and universities in several states put on lockdown. On Thursday, the series of reported threats led to those canceled classes, more security. We remember we went through a list of perhaps 7 of these schools and just they had to abruptly close yesterday. Some classes had come back into session today. One of them being Southern University, though, is close to the weekend, through the weekend, because of the threat they received. In Louisville here, there was no immediate threat reported to Simmons College, but the HBCU's college president says, to our reporting team that you can tune in on tonight and on our website, campus safety is top of mind. Authorities didn't elaborate on the types of threats, though, made. No injuries were reported in any of that semi-long list of those HBCUs that would have been added to what was going on as the reported threat. All right. Some graphics we have been able to get in here to our system. Wanted to let you all know about some of these other headlines and updates. A Louisville man, he was arrested, accused of telling police that he was working for the CIA. Take a look at some of the information we got from an arrest report. David Christopher, arrested Thursday on Bardstown Road. The document says officers first stopped him because he didn't have a valid license plate, but they also found he didn't have any insurance either. Christopher, according to police, claimed he was a CIA officer several times, even showing them shirts, hats, money clips that all had CIA on them. Officers found out this was not his first time lying, though, about being an undercover agent of some sort. He is charged with impersonating a peace officer, driving without a license, and not having proper insurance. In another update of police and some arrest reports that we were able to come across, they say they took another man into custody. He's allegedly accused of stealing money from his job and then giving that merchandise to his friends. Police telling us Bryant Miller worked at the Family Dollar on Southside Drive. An arrest report for him says he took nearly $400 from the store's register, and that Miller apparently would also ring up and bag items for his friends, then allowing them to leave without paying. These incidents, according to police, were all caught on video camera. Family Dollar says the store thinks it lost around $2,400 of merchandising value. Miller is charged with theft by deception. All right, and another one of our Wave News team's investigations and stories today. The family of a mother from Honduras detained by ICE recently, they sat down as well as with their attorney. They believe their mom, in this case, the man who sat down to talk to us is the son, living in the metro for more than 10 years, had no other criminal record, no sort of anything that would have tripped up at a flag for law enforcement to have that warrant out, is what the family and the lawyer are saying. So Wave News reporter Fernando Garcia Francescini talked to both of these parties about what the case involves. First, you're going to hear from one of the sons of the woman named Cicely Martinez, saying that she'd been going to her scheduled meetings, as was mandated regularly. That's called ICE's Alternatives to Detention program. It allows immigrants to stay in their communities while going through immigration processes, the ones that they would have to formally. The family says, though, she was randomly called to a meeting Wednesday and that agents took her to the Clark County Jail. And so this was they're part of our conversation with them today.
Without her, our house isn't a home anymore. It's just spirits are down without her.
Davies Martinez says he and his siblings have been living a nightmare since their mother, Cicely, was detained by ICE on Wednesday.
I don't know how to tell them, so I just told them she was just going to be gone for a few days and that I should be able to bail her out by Friday. They still believe that, but that night was really hard.
Cicely came to the U.S. from Honduras about 12 years ago. Her lawyer tells me she immigrated with Davies after his father abandoned them. He says she's been consistently employed and has no criminal history, but has now been detained by ICE. Her lawyer says she was taken in because she has an expedited removal order from her entry back in 2013.
What happens in these scenarios is ICE typically keeps you on a check-in schedule where you check in once a year. They make sure there's no new criminal offenses, that they don't have anything to be concerned about. And generally, they haven't prioritized people in that situation.
But attorney Duffy Traeger says that's changed. He says he's seeing more cases like this one since President Trump took office in January. Cicely's legal team is working to get her an interview with immigration officers, but Traeger says that could take months, and for her family, time is of the essence.
She's such a good mom and such a good friend to everybody, and it's just so sad that she's been taken by ICE.
That was a report from our Fernando Garcia Francischini. The attorney Traeger there saying Martinez was also in the process of getting a U visa. It's a visa for victims of certain qualifying crimes, which they're able to apply to if they believe they do qualify. Traeger also adding that Martinez apparently qualified because she was a victim of domestic violence. Traeger says, though, because of a backlog in the system proper, that could take around 7 years to get fully formalized in that way as well. For more information on that, of course, always refer you to all the context we have written down on top of our video report on the website, wave3.com. It is 8:25 this evening, bringing you back out to what's available from our SkyTrack network of cameras. And if I'm looking at the clock, I might have timed this out right for myself around 8:25, or if you're seeing that stage to your right would be tonight's headliner of Fish taking on, taking everything, their act on the barrel stage there on the very right. So we'll keep hopping in to see what's going on as the show continues well into the night. We are going to reset to take a quick break and go through some more stories I want to share with you. So we'll be right back here on Wave Extra. All right, everyone, welcome back in after a little bit of a snag there with the buttons here into the Wave Extra studio, the Wave Now studio, showing a little bit of past fun and music and jams from last year's Jazz in Central Park. Well, the lineup for this year's party is now out. Some names like Bashiri Assad, Maestro Jay Darnell, Classic Line, a bunch of others hitting the stage. The event team, though, says it is still looking for vendors. Jazz in Central Park is a popular one-day party. It's been going on for 30 years now. Remember when we first reported, the impression was it may not even happen, though, this year after it had to be canceled, postponed pretty much in late August. But the event team involved saying the show has to go on, and Jazz in Central Park is going to take place Sunday, September 28th from 2 to 5 in the afternoon. Moving on to some more stories for you tonight. Wagner High School preparing for their first football game on a brand new turf field. Of course, this is our view before that official christening of having some athletic action there. It's a lot of green, and we got a sneak peek of the field's refreshed look, vibrant colors, red and gray for the school to celebrate. The upgrades include some new bleachers, press boxes, concession stands. This is a part, though, of the investment from JCPS's future state plan, investing millions of dollars at 16 high school facilities. We actually talked to 2 Wagner football players about their feelings looking at the new field, and they're anticipating using it likely already tonight.
When I walked out here, I was like, dang, not for real. Yeah, no, for real though. I was like, yeah, this is nice. All my friends and they said the student section is about to be crazy.
I'm so excited for the student section. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see them. Because usually the last, 3 years I've been here,
They don't like coming.
they don't like coming to the game. So it's the first time we're going to have a lot of people at the game.
And likely our TDFN crew, which you can always catch up with tonight at around 11:15. They're likely going to have some video of the celebration and ribbon cutting there for the new field, with plenty of alumni likely to join in the celebration for the reveal. Wagner playing more, so those highlights definitely going to show up tonight on Touchdown Friday night on Wave News at 11. Let's take you elsewhere around town. We can pull up some of this. There we go. Some of the stuff I've got here on my computer. So providing books for people who want or need them, but may not be able to make it to a Louisville Free Public Library. It got a little easier thanks to a brand new bookmobile. We got to step inside of it earlier today. It's a custom designed, wheelchair accessible mobile library. It's delivering books and other materials to folks who live in care facilities, in housing communities, shelters, other types of homes that may have limits to access where they can move. Along with the new bookmobile, library staff say they're planning to visit parks, shopping centers, community events in general to help deliver library services to people all over the community.
There are plenty of books on this mobile library. There's a wide selection, and our members here love being able to check out all the library books that are offered.
Getting the new bookmobile for the library system, it happened through a $250,000 budget allocation from the mayor's office and Metro Council, with an additional $116,000 used from the Library Foundation. On top of that, $20,000 to cover all the new books and materials that they bring with them in the new bookmobile. And also happening around Friday, around town, 1,000 bicyclists and walkers gearing up for this year's Bike to Beat Cancer. It's gone on 16 years up to this point, raising more than $7 million for patients at the Norton Cancer Institute. The event featuring 5, 15, 35, 65-mile routes, as well as a fun walk around the Norton Brownsboro campus. One cyclist saying he and many others who joined in the ride honor friends and loved ones that they lost in their lives to cancer, something that brought him back to the event for 13 years.
I love the camaraderie, the people, just everybody gets together and has a good time. The mile of silence that they do is just moving. It brings you to tears every year. Everybody's here to participate and help raise funds for cancer patients.
So the events kick off Saturday morning at 8 o'clock. You could find more of how to register if you'd still like to join that website. It is Bike to Beat Cancer. So BIKETOBEAT cancer.org. All right, let's take you back outside. It is 8:33 tonight. A bit more mist and smoke. Not a lot of the lights shining too bright there from that stage on the Expo Center Fairgrounds as Fish, the big headliner for this night of Bourbon and Beyond. Once we come back from break, we're going to go through some more updates from the website and 2 stories I wanted to share with you before we say goodbye to Friday and head into the rest of the weekend. We're going to take a quick break to reset. We'll be right back with more of Wave Extra. All right, everyone. Here we are, 8:36 on this Friday evening of September 12th in the Wave Now studio. Just winding down the day. A reminder that, we're here every Monday through Friday to start as we go through some of the day's big stories at 8:05. Whether you're joining us through the Wave Now app on your smart TV device, that could be your Apple device, Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, all our different connection points on social media. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X. Always appreciate you all tuning in. Just a different way for you all to join us to go over the big stories that we're following and going to continue to follow throughout the days and weeks and everything ahead. Some things wanted to share with you from two more members of our Wave News reporting team, and finding out that as food security is still rising in a lot of different parts of the country, one group here in Louisville wants to encourage people, if they can, to help their neighbors in the metro, local families who might be struggling a little bit more as well. In Dare to Care's case, many might think this is a focus on food pantries, but their work team says they want to extend that network beyond just the pantries themselves. So our Wave News reporter, Marissa Burke, took us to one location, especially on a day where they're campaigning to bring more awareness to the needs that families might have in our own backyard.
On Friday, Dare to Care partnered with several of their food banks to try to help families in need, especially those at the Ronald McDonald House. This is the third year volunteers have come together to help make casseroles for the Ronald McDonald House. This small labor of love helps families not think about food while caring for their loved ones. A study of Dare to Care's 13-county service area found 1 in 7 individuals experience food insecurity. Officials with Dare to Care say many food pantries are empty and spending for federal food programs like USDA have decreased. Those concerns squeeze on organizations like Dare to Care. Friday, the annual Food Fight Day of Service, is one way people can use their time to make a difference. One person we spoke to says it fills her heart to support families in this way.
We have a Facebook group of support moms for kids with epilepsy, and I have met so many moms on there, and the Ronald McDonald House has been awesome to them. So when I saw this volunteer event come up, I said, this is the one, and I'm not going to back out. I'm not going to let work take precedence. This is the one.
September is Hunger Action Month, and Dare to Care wants to see more volunteers partner with their local food banks to help families across the southern Indiana and Kentucky areas. If you need more help or you're interested in volunteering your time, you can find details on Dare to Care's website. Marissa Burke, Wave News.
All right, thanks to Marissa Burke for that story. And want to leave you tonight with the latest in our What's Good series, trying to share some uplifting stories whenever we meet some fellow neighbors and the stories that they want to share of resilience and the good things happening in our community. Well, tonight we want to introduce you, and our Wave News anchor Myra Ansari sat down to talk to a veteran who thought he may never walk again, but he found the perfect team to make that all happen.
I'm Army in the Army National Guard.
William Quinn is a proud veteran. He's led an active life. So when it got hard to move,
You talk about depression. Depression's real.
life got really hard.
You couldn't walk. I couldn't mow the lawn. I couldn't go upstairs.
William went to the doctor. He says an orthopedic surgeon at a Kentucky hospital told him that he needed hip surgery. But unfortunately, William says the procedure the doctor performed late last year only complicated his issues and left him in further pain. He couldn't walk, was wheelchair bound, couldn't work anymore.
I have a psychiatrist that I see, and he asked me, he said, "Are you suicidal?" And I said, "Absolutely not." But I could see how people could do it. That's how much pain there was.
It was 8 months of agony. William saw several different doctors to see if they could help him.
Then we went to 2 other orthopedic surgeons. They said the same thing. It's irreversible, it's terminal, and you're going to be in a wheelchair the rest of your life.
The veteran who served feared the rest of his life would be served to him without independence. And then William says he was referred to Dr. Andrew Swergis, an orthopedic surgeon at U of L Health.
You know, when someone comes in with something like this, when they've had another operation before, you have to start digging in.
His first words out of his mouth after he saw the x-rays, he goes, "I need to put my detective hat on."
He wanted to get out of the wheelchair and wanted to get back to walking and doing the things he enjoys doing. The thought is, well, we need to give him a new hip joint.
Dr. Swergis determined William needed hip replacement surgery, but this was a little complicated.
He didn't have a standard hip joint, and so we went in there and had to debride a whole bunch of scar tissue. His leg, he had this surgery about 10 months prior to when we did his hip replacement. So his leg had been short. Your leg shortens when you don't have a hip joint. So his leg was, 5, 6, 7 inches shorter than his other leg, and all the muscles had tightened up. So there was a lot of scar tissue and a lot of mobilization to do. And then we go in and put a socket in like we would usually do for a hip replacement. And then we put a stem in with a ball on it, but then we have to, bring his leg back down and put the ball and socket joint back together.
This is what William's hip looked like before the surgery. This is what it looks like now.
I'm still getting goosebumps right now.
3 days after the hip replacement surgery, William was standing and walking.
He gave me a gift that I could never repay, and that's the gift of mobility.
William is now paying it forward and getting back to what he loves, which is to serve. Soon after walking, he joined the American Legion and is a part of the Honor Guard.
I'm able to stand and salute these soldiers that give us the safety that we have right now. Hurt, but I do it for Dr. Andy.
William, do you feel good again?
I do. I have a smile now.
All right, thanks to Myra, and sorry for that conversation and sharing William's story. He is also working as an Uber driver, so there's another sense of mobility for him in his life. His goal is to maybe be walking without some extra assistance by the end of the year, just through practicing that stamina and rehabilitating the best as he can. So we want to thank Myra for sharing his story in our What's Good series, something we always share with you here on the wave3.com homepage. You can see, of course, a big focus on Touchdown Friday night, but all of our original reporting brought up there, even the national stories. There you could see some updates in the arrest investigations from the FBI as to what happened to Charlie Clerk with his deadly shooting in Utah. More stories, if you scroll, keep going down, all that updated quite quickly as soon as we get all that information here into our newsroom and our digital team sending that out to not just the website, but to your phones for those app push alerts as well. All right, everyone. It's a bit of a shorter check-in tonight as we're about to hit close to the 8:45 mark, but hopefully as we're, maybe having Friday night to go out and enjoy doing whatever it is you wanted to do with the folks you want to spend some time with. Part of that being the big crowd out at the Expo Center Fairgrounds, enjoying this showing of Fish's set list for bourbon and beyond. We're going to wrap things up here in the Wave Now studio. I'm Jose Sosaya. Always appreciate your time checking in with us as we go over the day's big stories, the things going on in your and our community. We will see you here next week. Take care.